Lot could happen in a minute. Lot could happen at the house
Is
in a
Elizabeth
minute.
coming?
What's that?
Is Elizabeth coming?
I don't know.
I was going to, I was talking to Scott on my way in this morning, they were in the car or something, or, I don't know. I had nothing in the background, so I was filling him in on last night.
Yeah.
We got some people on the. Can you guys hear us on the? Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
there's a slight echo, but I can hear you.
Hopefully we'll get it figured out. Out.
Alex, I think we can only hear each other on Zoom. I don't think they can hear us in there.
We can.
Oh, you can? Oh, great.
I know you're trying to create an echo, but there really is an echo.
This is what was attached to the email.
It's an echo because we resonate.
All right.
There's one, that was
Well,
for.
I would like to bring the finance committee meeting to order, and I would,
That's why that was sent.
I think the selectmen are gonna bring their meeting to order, and then I'll welcome our astute guests. Is,
You open?
yes.
Okay. Open the, select board meeting for, March 12th. And it is now, 6:08.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, perfect.
Zoom?
We're on Zoom, we're everywhere. We've got 3, 4 people on Zoom. Welcome. How are you guys tonight?
That's excellent. We're doing well, thank you.
The floor is yours.
Well, thank you, and good evening. Just for anybody who doesn't know, I'm Kyle Murray, I'm the proud superintendent of Bath Regional Vocational Technical High School, and I have our business manager, Miss Cindy Schofield, as well. So, we're here tonight to present our FY '27 budget. This is the governor's budget, and it's subject to change as it makes its way through the House and the Senate, and we will make any minor adjustments, because we don't anticipate any large adjustments, as needed. So,
Sorry, that's an in-joke.
so we start off, we did a lot of work this past year on core values, and we brought in all our stakeholders, students and faculty, as well as in administration, and we settled on these core values, which the first one really summarizes everything. Own it. If you own it, you care for it, you respect it, and you strive for excellence in everything that you do, and you have integrity around that, and those are the others. Strive for excellence in everything that we do. We want to autograph it with excellence. It's a reflection of who we are and what we do. We have an attitude of gratitude, and part of that gratitude is the finances and the trust that each one of our 10 districts has in us to, give us the resources we need to provide our students with the best so that they can be their best. And act with integrity, and I think nothing more than this year in particular with our budget, we act with integrity. When we did, and you'll see throughout it, a level funding of FY '26 projecting into FY '27, we were 1.6 million over what the governor came out with in that budget. 1.6 million over FY '26. We knew the governor's budget wasn't gonna come close to that. It narrowed the gap slightly, and we re-ran the numbers, and we were still 1.3 over on that. We tightened our belts and we went through, and we knew that our towns don't have an appetite for assessments over the minimum contributions, and we were able to pare that down. So again, there'll be no assessment above the minimum local required contributions for our 10 towns. And we'll go through with that. And then the last one is everybody should just be kind.
That's a breath of fresh air, by the way. You should comment on that. Yeah.
So we'll jump right in. The FY '27 budget summary, chapter 70 is $14,902,363. Our school choice assessment, we estimate at $350,533. Our assessment for the minimum contribution for our 10 towns is $12,459,053. We have no assessment above the minimum. For the second year in a row, we are putting back into our operating budget our interest earned on our E&D money, and that equates to $150,000 this year. And from our E&D, we're going to continue to pay down our OPEB on that to the tune of $75,000. Bringing our total operational budget to $27,235,883. Our transportation budget for FY '27 is a total of $2,169,008. This year, the state Chapter 71 money, to the tune of about 75%, so they're still not funding us at 100%, is $1,621,678. So the assessment to our towns, after bringing it down $100,000 from our transportation reimbursement account, is $447,331. Our debt, we continue to pay down. 2044 is when that one should disappear. Is $870,000 in principal and $680,428 in interest, for a total of $1,550,428. We have no capital, and our total budget for assessments is $30,955,319. We add back in the school choice assessment for a total operating budget of $31,305,852. So the impact on Bay Path, we show a year-over-year, FY '27 over FY '26, and you can see the Chapter 70 increase is $336,557. Although we are at the minimum, it's important to note that that did go up. The minimum contribution to our 10 towns has gone up $845,258, for a total increase for our net school spending of $1,181,815. So again, on the next slide, for the financial information, although the assessments are at a minimum, it's important to note that the required minimum that each of our 10 towns must contribute has increased collectively by $845,258. Our member towns' transportation assessment has decreased by $52,670 due to an increase in the regional transportation reimbursement funds, and contributing back $100,000 from that reimbursement account to offset that increase. So again, this just summarizes the major highlights. So $14,902,000 in Chapter 70 revenue, $350,533 in school choice. Plus in 71 aid is $1.6 million. And again, we highlight our E&D $75,000 contribution to the OPEB liability, and the contribution of our $150,000 from interest earnings on that E&D account. What are the major impacts? The major impacts were knowing that we were over. We did a multi-departmental, it's really every department, qualitative and equitable review of the budget and staffing patterns. And we kept as our bar providing the highest level of student services, as well as staying within that minimum local contribution rate. The biggest contributor to our budget impact, and still the most volatile, is health insurance. So we are part of the Hampshire Group Insurance. Last year, we asked for an 18% increase because that's what we were told it would be, 18% increase. Began July 1. Before July was over, they pulled the 73 municipalities who make up that Hampshire Group together and asked for a 20% increase. The result of a no vote on the 20% increase would have been that group going bankrupt and not being solvent, and all 73 communities being self-insured. So the 18% turned into a near 40% increase. 20% of that was unaccounted for, which was $750,000 that we're trying to still close that gap through budget savings this year, so we can pay that down. We carry that $750,000 increase into next year, and we just found out a 13% increase projected this year for FY '27 on that. So that's our biggest volatile budget there. So we say on the bottom, we're anticipating, but no longer anticipate, we should update that, that we know now that's a 13%, almost 14% increase in healthcare on that. We continue to use our SOA funds to provide the professional development to our staff and fund the programs for our students' social emotional needs, which includes bullying, bias, mental health, and more.
What does SOE stand for?
Student Opportunity Act money.
Okay.
The state came out with, so it's baked into our operating budget, the formula of what we get funded, but it's tracked. So if we report how many student services resources we have, that includes our SRO, our school adjustment counselors, our guidance counselors, and all of that. So each year we report out on that to the state and the progress for addressing, student needs on that. So it's money from the state, but it needs to be used for those purposes. Our budget includes, this year, we're negotiating 4 collective bargaining agreements. Our 4 largest, the largest is the teachers unit, the paras, custodial, and our secretaries on those. So we included.
Administrative professionals.
I always thought that, but they do call themselves secretaries. So the freshman seat allocation, we include that because that says how many students from each of our 10 towns. It's based on school-age children population in each of the towns. If you look at Rutland, there's 1,677 school-age children in the town of Rutland. That equals 10.17% of our total school-age children population, 16,485 for our 10-town districts on that. So that 10.1% of 330 equates to 34 seats for the town of Rutland.
And that number kind of fluctuate, like we heard this year that, since October 124 to October 125, there's 30,000 fewer school-age children in the state of Massachusetts. So the numbers are going down. I think most people aren't having 6, 7, 8 kids anymore, having fewer, so the population is going down. So this year we noticed it was $1,000 difference, 1,000 kids differential for us in the enrollment.
Not enrollment, in the school-age children population, right. Enrollment stays the same for us, fortunately, because we have a wait list on that, so.
You're probably gonna tell us, but that 34 seats, those are filled always?
Those are filled, so going back to freshman seat allocation, last Friday, we held our first state mandated lottery. So I'm not sure if you recall, the state mandated that all regional vocational schools must select their students through a blind lottery. So we had our first one. It was televised or streamed live and recorded. So we took all 670 applicants and put them in an electronic bin and spun the wheel. Each student who applied got up to 3 chances, 3 tickets, so to speak. Completing the application, you got 1 ticket. So if you completed the application, you got a ticket. If you had less than 27 absences in a 270-day period, you got a second ticket for attendance. So that's about 10%. Unexcused absences only. About 98% of the students got a second ticket. And then the third ticket is for discipline. And 100% of the students got a ticket for discipline because basically the only reason you wouldn't get it is if you were adjudicated of a felony on school grounds. So every kid got it. Even if they were adjudicated of a felony on school grounds, we wouldn't know it because their records are sealed as minors. So why do we do that? That goes back to owning it and striving for excellence. We want every student to know as soon as they find out about BayPath that we value attendance and we value discipline. It's the number one thing we got from our 350 industry, business, and higher ed advisors when we ask them, what do you look for in an employee? Reliability, that's attendance, and that they have to be safe. So every day, we put kids in inherently dangerous situations based on the tools and the machines and the equipment that they use. They have to be focused, they have to be attentive, and they have to be on task, or very serious things could happen on that. So we do that, and we had that argument, or not argument, that discussion as school committee, why do the attendance and the discipline? It's more to let them know that we value it, every student got it. So we run the electronic lottery, every single student is assigned a number so that they're not names, because if it's televised, we're not calling out names. We ran that, so in Rutland, let's start real rather than hypothetical. Rutland had 40 applicants. So all 40 applicants are put in, we run the lottery, and they're rank ordered in the order of their pull, and then it was 34 seat allocations, so we go down to 34, and we highlight that, and you have 6 on the wait list. So, all right, so if now that night, electronic is great for a lot of things, that night, immediately the students receive, those who got accepted, an acceptance letter. They have 15 calendar days to let us know whether they accept that or not. So if, it comes back and of the 34, 7 said no, we'll take the next 7 in that order, which would be all of them. So I don't see that happening, but that's how that works, so.
So with all that said, then we will have 34 freshmen going in.
You will,
September.
yep,
Okay.
yep. So if the 34 who got the initial acceptance didn't, you've got those students on the wait list, that'll fill that in.
How do you calculate the number of students from each town?
That's the formula, so that if you look at, let me pull it back up. So the number of students from each town is based on the school age population.
Yeah.
So Rutland has 1,677 children who would qualify for K through 12.
Okay.
So that's the total school age children population of Rutland. We take that number for all 10 towns. That comes out to 16,485, school age children. Then we take the 1677, divide that into the 16,000, and we get 10.17 is the ratio. All of them together make up 100%. So that 10.17, you multiply times the 330, and it comes out to 34.
So you're limited to 330 a year.
Capacity right now, we are at capacity.
Okay,
Oh, yep, so that's how that
okay.
comes out. Yes, unfortunately, we have no room for expansion up on the hill. It doesn't lend itself. We have the physical property to expand, but we're still paying down the $70 million renovation. So I don't think you have an appetite to have us increase. We would love to. We do look for different ways to increase capacity through the grants that come out. This past year, the state allocated $70 million for a CTE expansion. Each applicant for that, if selected, could have a maximum of $5 million. You can't build very much, unfortunately, nowadays for $5 million. It's not a sub-separate building that we could do, but we were looking at off-site locations that we could enter into a long-term, because we lobbied and we can get into long-term leases now. It used to be just 5 years. That's one graduating class, one cohort. We can enter into up to 25-year leases. So a lot of our colleagues and ourselves, I'm not at liberty to say who the partner was that we were looking at the expansion. And 3 of our programs would have fit nicely into what their operation was. And we built out that location, and we were looking to increase our capacity by at least 60 to 70 more students on that. Unfortunately, the make ready for the tenant was a little bit too much, and it was because of that $5 million, you could only use 30%. So of that for capital, and it was just too rich for the renovations that needed to be made. So we made a conscious decision between the two of us to pull out. And then we'll continue looking at other locations or working with them with some maybe angel funding or outside funding that could get us there for hopefully the next round of that and go for it. And that would be a workable solution of expanding at a minimal cost to gain those seats. So we're always looking to expand.
As soon as you couldn't expand, you lost the money.
We made the decision, the worst thing we do is put in for
Yeah.
that and not be able to get it. We'll never get another grant opportunity on it. So between the school and the partner, we decided, let's do some more investigation and come back with a different plan. And we hope that the state, because statewide, depending on what reports you look at, there's anywhere from 8,000 to 11,000 students on wait lists to get into the regional vocational schools. So our argument with admissions was like, we're kind of wasting our time. We're not building capacity. We're just changing the face of the student outside saying this is unfair. So let's put our efforts and our money towards expanding these programs. We know it works, you know. But I'll get off my soapbox. And so foundation enrollment, the next slide shows the total number of students from each town. And Rutland has 84 total students across all 4 grades. And that's up 3 students from FY '26. We're always 1 year behind because these are October 1 numbers. So FY '27 is based on this past October. So we're funded at that rate. If it increases, we're always a year behind on funding from the state. That's the snapshot on that.
So these are all based on population.
These are the actual student population.
No, I mean, the population of the town determines how many can go.
Total,
So that
yep. Each
84
four, yep.
is determined by the total population of the citizenry of the town. For the
Yep,
students.
so
okay.
34 students come in this year and then next year, so. you
Over
add those
time,
4.
right?
Over time, 4 years,
Over time.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
An average, no way.
And you can see
change,
that
yeah.
our total population is going to remain around, 1,230, 1,240 students due to our capacity.
So about 1,200 students, but only about 330 a year are considered for coming into the school. Okay.
Yep.
And also can fluctuate based on if the senior class, 3 years ago, the numbers were higher, that graduating class goes out, so the numbers, it fluctuates from year to year, but the total number, depending on the senior class graduating, and then the freshman class coming
Yeah,
in.
that's why it's not simply 4 times 34, because that varies every year by 1 or 2. Yep. And over the years, it could be a greater gap from, 5 or so.
So the 34 for freshmen, unless you have some sort of a significant build out or increase, is probably gonna stay about that same, right?
It will. Right now, we're maxed out.
Maxed out, so
Every year,
it's-
we're gonna be 330.
Right.
If we were to expand, if that came
right.
through, yes, that would go up, based on the number of seats that we would put in.
Understood.
So the only way that will change is depending on the towns, whether their population grows by students or decreases by students. And that will affect the number of students per town that are
town.
allowed to go.
That's
But our
correct.
330 number will hold steady.
Okay.
Like some towns this year have 13 kids up or down, based on their population, and then some have lower numbers, so.
The one town that didn't meet their allocation, Paxton, it's a total of 3 students. They have 3 available spots open. If those aren't filled by April 1st, those are allocated based on the ratios again. So pretty much the top 3 will get those spots.
So the 84 and the 81 numbers on this page, that represents the 4 grades total for the 4 grades.
Yes. Yep. Next slide, if there's no more questions on that. Just shows all 10 towns and the numbers associated with those. So the first column is minimum contribution. You can look down, Rutland's minimum contribution is $856,499 of the total $12.5 million. Foundation enrollment is in there, and then you get the ratio, 6.79 is Rutland's share of that. So that number is used for transportation assessments, And that 6.79% of the 447,330 equates to 30,376. Capital population, again, that ratio is used for any debt service or capital on that. So that's 14.74 times 1.55 equates to 228,544 for that, for total contribution or assessment at the end of 1,346,000.
No, that's Southbridge.
Oh, am I looking at Southbridge? Sorry. All right, above that, sorry. Yes, holy cow. All right, thank you. We gotta include lines.
Well, the next slide is, the
Yeah,
next
so
slide is
Rutland's
easier.
debt service is 157, 723 for a total assessment of 1,044,500.
The next slide is easier to see that.
It's much clearer.
Just for
yes.
Rutland.
So
I'm
it
trying to give
breaks it-
everybody's information, just so we're transparent.
Yeah, so that we break it out right here, and you can see the year-over-year increase or decrease. So the minimum contribution, total increase went up $82,222. Transportation costs actually went down by $2,391, and the debt service went up by $1,339 for a total assessment increase of $81,170.
So does this assessment, that assessment has to do with the student population increase, and it has to do with your just increase in expenses?
Yeah, so the state gives us the numbers for your minimum required contribution. That's based on a number of factors. It is student population, but there's also a municipal revenue growth factor that's in there, and that has to do with
Yeah.
a black box.
By chance, do either one of you know how much you have in your OPEB, not OPEB,
If you
in your
look it up.
E&Ds?
I know we have an E and D.
Oh, E and D we know.
Yeah, we
That's-
have about 1.34 million.
Thank you.
So we are at the cap of 5%. OPEB total
I know.
outstanding, they asked last night in
Because I didn't get
in
the
Charlton, we can get that number for the total. It's
So
still a
you,
lot.
That's
so
fine.
you're at your cap, 5%,
Yes,
Yeah.
for E and D.
and that's mandated by
The cap is mandated by the state, only 5%.
Yep.
We've been fortunate, we don't anticipate that with the budget crisis we're in now. Contributing that much next year. We may have to hit the E and D to cover the some of the 750,000 for the unfunded, unknown increase in our healthcare.
you guys beat a pretty good drum when you guys go down to Boston. You guys will get it. I don't think the regional schools will get it like you guys get it. You guys, vocational schools have done a really good job of presenting that and doing what you guys do. I mean, you go to a budget meeting in Wachusett and they're like, if we could only get the same percentages they get, we'd be all set, and they cry that blues. But they work harder at it, you guys work harder at it, and you do a good job. So there's nothing but a compliment. I mean, you keep it rolling. I mean, to come in here and say we're not over is a small blessing. And
Thank you. Thank
Well,
you.
you still get an 8% increase here, right?
on top of, and we're still on it.
Yeah, but it's that foundation.
Foundation.
It's not over and
The
above.
8% is due to our municipal revenue growth factor.
Correct. From the state.
Right.
It's going up by 8.4%. What are we celebrating again?
We're celebrating that it's not going up
That they
by,
don't have as discretionary along with
that we
it.
don't have $120 million budget that just went up 8.4%.
Right.
We've worked
You know what I'm saying? I understand where you're going, but
But we'll see
Yeah.
the same thing on Wachusett's minimum local contribution will go up the same thing. It's the same, that's the same, it goes up.
I understand.
Yep.
I understand.
I would just point out that we work within our budget, so we have no costs outside. We would have, to maintain level staffing, would have been asking for more, to the tune of
The minimum, yeah.
to the tune of 1.3 assessed out to our 10 towns this year. We looked at that and we're making cuts to stay within that. It's been easier in the past to do it, but with that $750,000 increase and an additional 13 6% on top of that going into next year. We can't do that, so we will be having cuts. Our class sizes will go up. We won't be buying any major equipment purchases on that, so we'll be working on what we currently have on it. So we stay within that. We're fortunate in that we try to do as much live work, and you've been the benefit, this town's been the benefit of some of that live work. That takes the burden of material cost off the school, because the customer pays for all the material, we do all the labor, so that saves us. When we don't have that live work and we can't do that, and it's a win-win for our communities as well as the students. The community's getting something at a reduced cost at a professional level, because all of our shops are overseen by master electricians, master plumbers, master mechanics, and, you know, construction supervisor, licensed carpentry. So it's a win for the town, it's a win for our students. They're working on real world projects. They're working with wiring inspectors, building inspectors, and real customers on that. When we don't have that and we work in the shop, every one of those department budgets go up, because once you cut the 2x4, contrary to a new carpenter, there is no board stretcher. So we use it and we toss it. If we didn't have the restaurant and that revenue coming in, the cost to train those students, and we saw that during COVID when we were shut down and no live work, our departmental budgets skyrocketed. So we do have that benefit that we can offset the cost with our live work on that, and a win to our municipalities or our residents. And our town report shows the number of residents that are utilizing the services at the school on that. So that's how we can stay within. This year, we stayed within because we're cutting. And the cuts are deep.
How many positions are you cutting?
I'm not at liberty right now because we have to work the due process.
Okay.
And, you know, we don't want irrational fears, so we'll work through that. It'll come out, and we change how we present to even the school committee with a line item, because nobody should find out that they're losing their job because of a spreadsheet on that. So we have to work through the due process, and that is, you know, through the language of the CBAs.
Will we have that by our town meeting?
Yes, yep.
Okay. Just because
It'll
that will
known,
be a
yeah.
question.
June 15th is the end-all, be-all date,
When is your town meeting?
The second weekend in May.
Okay.
so, yeah.
Just in case it gets asked, I just would, that's
Yeah, the
always
numbers
beneficial.
will have worked
I mean,
through a
I
lot.
understand, and I'm 100% with you, but it would be nice in case it gets asked.
And it's not a hard number right now, because we were waiting for the final increase
yep.
from our health insurance.
No,
And I'd rather
yep.
speak with our employees before I speak with the public about.
Understand completely.
Question, did you incur extra debt last year that increased the debt number from 156 to 157?
No, our debt service has remained continuous. That's the renovation.
Yeah, no, it's a sheet that has been mapped out since the repaying started, and it goes all the way to 2044. It's a debt breakdown by year.
Proportion had changed a little bit, that's
Well,
all.
I'm saying normally when you take out debt, there's a principal guarantee that you pay back, and then there's the interest.
Yeah,
So did you refinance at a higher interest, or did you take on more debt to raise up that debt schedule? I guess that was my question.
No, so I think, and you tell me because you're the numbers person. So your ratio for debt
That's what
service is
changed?
based on the
Okay.
capital population,
Yeah.
All right.
right? So
That's
that
not-
ratio may have changed.
Based on population.
Yep. Yep, again, it's student count, the number of students, more students, more money, less students, less money.
Okay. What's the current contractual wage increase?
We are negotiating that.
No, I mean, in the past. The one you signed the contract years ago.
The one that's expiring, over the 3 years, they got a 10.25% increase.
Total,
Over
Total,
3 years,
over
yep.
3 years.
okay,
Yeah, 3.25.
okay.
So, I'll have a couple quick words and thank you guys. I lost a bet because of you this year.
I know.
It's disappointing, and you know what it's about.
Cookies.
Yep. I said that they were coming, and you guys let me down. So.
I
Write it down.
let you know.
Write it down.
No,
You know,
let
you're
us
always
down.
invited to come up to
So
the
I think
restaurant.
we have to go down and visit the restaurant.
See, there's a method to it.
We'll have to visit the restaurant.
Yeah.
Struggle broke.
Darren, one comment you made earlier, and I just want to clarify. When you're looking at a vocational high school versus a traditional high school, you've got two schools operating within that same building. You've got the academics and you have the shop. So you're literally running two schools under one roof, which is quite different than just an academic high school. So that's where you see the numbers are higher.
I actually didn't, if I was interpreted as saying the numbers are higher, right? Don't.
Right, well, you were
I say the
comparing,
numbers are higher.
well, you were comparing the number to
Okay.
Wachusett to the Bay Path number per student cost. And that's where the differences lie.
Yeah, no,
This does-
thank you, Mike, because the cost across the state on average to educate, and again, that's part of the admissions process for attendance. You can only benefit from that education if you show up. And you need to show up because many of our trades have a minimum number of hours to obtain before you can sit for the state cosmetology license, for the CNA exam, for a lot of the different industry recognized credentials that they need to earn. On average across the state, it's probably $4,000 to $5,000 more because of the smaller teachers student ratios you have to have in a welding shop, in a automotive, and then the sheer cost of the equipment and supplies. A CNC machine, if that went down, that's not in the budget, and that's a $500,000 plus.
Listen, I totally get some of that also, 100%. Because I'm ignorant, there's no special education at.
No, we service
Okay,
every
alright.
student.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a
So
common.
what's the special education, so talk a little bit about that, how does that
So
work?
we don't get circuit breaker in the regional school,
Right.
but we have a 14, and that varies year to year for special education. So we provide all services, all levels of services. We have 14% special needs, and we have our demographics mirror the collective 10 towns. So
We have kids on IEPs, we have kids on.
we're a Title I
504s.
school, so we
That's
have
what I
low
wanted to
income,
hear,
we have
yeah.
IEPs, we have 504s, we provide all the accommodation. We have learning centers, which are smaller classes, we have inclusion classes, so yeah, we offer a full suite of special education. Absolutely. L students too, we have L, English learning students, so we have L teachers and this and that. Yeah, we provide it. And that's why we're looking at changing our schedule. So, and that was, we're kind of voluntold by the state, we have to address our schedule because it's not fair and equitable. So as Mr. Pantos so politely pointed out, 50% of a student's time is in the shop, 50% is academics. We have no room for elective. Every course a student takes at our school is mandatory graduation requirement. So the intervention classes that students need, so extra time, is all after school. So to get the extra MCAS support, to get the extra L, it's after school. That's not fair and equitable. We're telling a class of students that you need to stay after school. And when they stay after school, they don't have the access to sports, activities, this and that. So that's why the state said, you need to address this. If we address our schedule, and it won't happen, and we were fortunate to get a grant from the state, that new schedule, after we bargain it, and it's a bargaining year, so not next year, but the following year, we'll be able to have intervention blocks during the day to meet the needs of those students. And then hopefully close the achievement gap in our school for students, our neediest students. We can provide them the supports that they need, and they'll be graduating, and they are graduating at the same rate that gen ed students are, but they're
So how
their
that's-
state assessments will, hopefully, they'll be performing at the same level that gen ed are on those by giving them the interventions during the day. Because again, you know, economic needs student needs to go home and take care of the family or go to their job, and they can't stay after for those supports to get the interventions they need. So we do in 50% of the time what a comprehensive school. So they get 180 days, they get 90 days on academics on ours, and we're still, our state assessments, that's why we have over 300 and 400 students who want to get in because of what we're providing. The other benefit is that we engage and we connect the relevancy. So a student who's learning math is like, when am I ever going to use this formula again? And they go in the shop and like, I can't cut the stair treads if I don't know the formula for slope, rise over run, and you know, and all of that. So there's benefits and it works, and that's why 8 to 11,000 kids want in, because we can make those connections, and we are providing them. We could do a better job of providing those services with a newer schedule.
So, one thing I want to make clear, your student population is not going to change year after year because your number of seats.
We are at capacity in our school.
I understand that, but you are going to possibly, depending on how it all works out, cut staff.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Enough said.
Question, financial. On the financial highlights you have here, you're gonna use 75,000 from excess and deficiency and 150 from interest earnings. Is that interest earnings from the excess and deficiency? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, that was
You
a change.
allocate that separately?
That's a change we made a couple of years ago, that rather than just leave the money, we put it into interest-bearing accounts. And it's been a pretty good return on that. So we'll put that back into the operating budget, which lowers the assessment to our 10 towns. So we do our, you know, our part to ensure that we are maximizing and, you know, protecting the fiduciary interests of all of our 10 towns. You know.
Did you say that your health insurance through the Hampshire Health Connect or whatever went up 40%?
Yep,
Yep.
last year.
Last year.
38,
It was a
38 exactly.
yeah, exact. It was a 18% known increase, and then unknown to us a month into the new year, plan year. They said, hey, we need to go up 20%. So we had a vote. There's 73 municipalities who are part of this group, and they started the insurance group started with the first slide that says the result of a no vote. A no vote meant they would go bankrupt, and we'd all be on our own self-funding. So it was a pretty easy vote decision.
So there's no
Not a happy vote, but
So there's no other health insurance program out there for you besides?
we just went out. Unfortunately, you guys are getting everything. So we just went out and we were transparent, and I can share this. We had a consultant, because we looked like, all right, we're part of a group. Let's look at, you know, what do we do? Is there an option? So we finally got our numbers, which are number of claims from the group. Once they released that, then we could go out for bids. The consultant solicited 2 bids. Nobody wants to quote us because of our claims. So by de facto.
That's why I asked about that. I know the system.
But yeah, and if they were to claim us, it would be over a 50% increase. So you look at a 13% increase. So that's where we are going to continue to work, even with these increases, and it's hard. And we just had this conversation with a select group. We still have a very, very good health insurance plan. Currently, there's no deductible, individual or family deductible. So why are our claims high? Does it cost you other than a copay to go to the doctor? And so everybody goes. So the new plan is looking at a modest, slight 250, 500. It's like, it should have been greater, but it is what it is. And that's why it'll be a 13% increase. It would have been a
15.8, yep.
Yeah, 16, 17% increase if we didn't institute some kind of deductible. You know, my feeling is it should have been higher, but there are 73 municipalities voting, and that's what they settled on.
What's the copay for the health insurance? How do you split that for your school?
It's mixed, so there's two populations. During one point, they did go from 85-15, and they changed that, so they grandfathered everybody currently under that. So we have a certain population at 85-15, and all new hires are at 70-30.
Okay.
So it's a very
I
good
know it's hard,
plan.
but I see you've made some changes there.
We're trying.
Okay. So looking forward now, that should help the numbers, 70-30. As the other population starts to
They're hoping so.
move on.
They're hoping so.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Well, with the claims, yeah.
And again, that's something we're not privy to because, you have, spouses or dependents and our claims information doesn't have names on it. So it's not something that we're gonna be like, oh, we don't want you to work here because you're killing our insurance, if you will, you know what I mean?
Right,
So
right, I know.
it's not about that, it's a privilege, it's a benefit, and
It's a
so we offer
benefit.
that. Yep.
GLPs was a big
If you only gave
contributor.
benefits to healthy people, the claim, that kind of defeats the purpose.
Correct.
But and the group, it's a long history. The group, we had some good years where they voted not to do an increase, and it's like, you should always do a modest increase and fill that rainy day. There isn't a cap on the health insurance reserves, there's a cap on our E&D. So there were 4 years of zero increase. 1 year, they gave us a 2% back. Then, health insurance and prescriptions and everything went up, and the reserves went from around 24 million down to 4 real fast. They said, we got to do this and stop it. They didn't do enough soon enough, and this is where we're at. GLPs are now off. GLPs were costing $600,000 a month for the group, so those are now off, but a little bit too late and too little. So the solvency of the group was in question. They hired a private consultant. We feel safer that this 14% will be enough, and that we won't get hit with another increase on that. So we are looking into it, but we are still going to continue to look outside and see if we can't go on our own. Then we'll know every year what that is if we're independent.
Any ideas on how many go on to higher education when they graduate?
I'm going to struggle with the number right now. I think it's about 70%.
Wow.
I think 70% go on to higher education. I do want to throw a caveat because we actually do. People say you're not doing your job if they're going to college because you're a trade school, they should go to the trades.
Yeah.
Many of our trades require credentials beyond a high school diploma. To be a master certified mechanic, ASE, you need 2 years at Mass Bay and get those credits on those. And we have to check one of 3 boxes per federal regulations because we get Perkins money. So we have to measure at time of graduation when they're walking out the door. A successful placement is you're going on to higher education in your field. You're going to go right into the world of work, or you're joining the military. So we get that, and we always hit our benchmarks for that. And then 1 year follow-up. So a year from their graduation, we say, hey, are you still, employed? No, I went to school. I went back to school. Or no, I dropped out of school and I'm currently looking for a job. So again, we get measured on those metrics. And if we fall short, we have to put in a action plan on how we're going to remediate that. What it doesn't capture is the number of students who are on co-op, get offered a full-time job, and they go to college at night because of the educational benefits. So they're working and going to school. More importantly, they're probably going to graduate close to debt-free, if not debt-free. But they check college because everybody wants to know that you're going to college. So we lose the number there. And we have a number of, students who are working full-time and going to college, but they check the college box. So that is a little bit higher on that. But more importantly, they're going with a purpose, so they know what they're going to major in, and they have a plan, which is great. And they graduate debt-free.
Is that what?
And they'll graduate debt-free, not 100.
Yeah. No, I know when I was teaching there that, computer science was something that was blossoming out at that point in time. So the majority of kids that I had were going on to school.
Computer science, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, we have, I know of two, because my nephew is one, graduated 2 years ago. He'll be a junior at WPI next year, but he's still working at the co-op and, full-time and going to school. And he's really motivated. And it was the trade that made him motivated. He'll graduate in 4 years with a master's degree, and he's going to be pretty close to not owing a penny when he does graduate. And then his younger brother followed in the footsteps in advanced manufacturing, working at the same co-op company, and he just got accepted to WPI. And the company said, we'll do the same deal that we're doing for your brother. So the co-ops, and we just had a conversation, is where the companies get to, benefit from new talent and train them up the way they want, and benefit from that as well. So yeah, we look to place. I'll throw this number out, or numbers. Last year, just under $1 million of earning from our co-op students, and that equates to about 165 students who are out there working. So if that gives you an indication of the living wages that they can earn in high school. So if we get those co-op numbers up, that's just going to go up as well too. So
Impressive, yeah. Thank you.
You mentioned that your cafeteria supports like lumber and stuff that you need that have, during COVID, that's what really kept you alive?
Live work keeps us alive. It keeps us operating more efficiently.
Okay.
So we can, our material budgets will be low. Because again, knowing that, gas prices are going up, electricity prices are going up, that's inherent in every one of our shops on those, and material. So shipping costs go up, and they put the steel surcharge because there's a shortage of steel due to the construction tariffs. All of that is absorbed. So our inflation for all the material that is utilized in every one of our shops goes up exponentially each year on that. So the live work offsets that because the customer pays. If you bring your car in, you pay for the oil, you pay for the new oil filter. If we're just changing oil for the sake of changing oil, you can only do that so much. The board's cut, we can't use that anymore. And if they're cooking and then they sample it, all the waste goes out, so we sell it.
Okay.
And everybody enjoys it. And who's a better critique
Except
than
for
the public?
Except for the cookies.
I knew it wasn't.
I told you, bring the cookies.
It wasn't. I knew it, and I said,
No.
I said it coming out when she said, it's in the town hall. I said, it's in the library. And I go, oh, crap. I didn't use that word. I said, that's the cookie. And we're a bakery is already shut down, sorry. So I owe you.
Does anyone else on the finance committee have any other questions we can discuss afterwards? Or, if someone has some more questions for him, Ludwig, you think you had some questions if you want to fire away?
I understand the situation. Thank you.
Okay. I think.
Anybody on YouTube, on cable? Leah?
Tamika's up there.
I'm good.
Okay.
Leah, are you there, kiddo?
He's muted.
Leah. Okay, well, we're good.
Okay.
At that point, I'm good, and I thank you very much for coming here, other than a little
Yes,
cookie fiasco.
absolutely.
We can get through that. Trust me, I don't need them, I just was I lost a bet over them. That's all.
We're not.
It was just,
I'm not going to live this one down.
it's just a mere bet. But
Hey, Darren, give me a call, take you to lunch, and you can get all the cookies you can take.
But the thing is that, you should be writing this down so you don't forget.
Oh, they don't forget. He remembered it on the right here. And with that, thank you very much. And if we have any questions, we'll reach out.
Thank you very
What
much.
is the date of the town meeting? I'm sorry, you said that.
It's the Saturday before Mother's
I
Day,
think it's the 9th.
9th, I think.
I think it's the 10th.
It's the Saturday before Mother's Day, so
Thank you, all right. Yep.
9th, 10th.
Somewhere in that
It's
neighborhood.
the
The Saturday before Mother's Day, it's just,
Let's see.
Perfect.
And I
Thank
appreciate the
you.
question,
May
especially the special ed. There's a lot of myths out there. We service every student, and that's important because, we do. But we, yeah, you know, and the lottery will be that way as well. And part of those myths are because grades were on the old application and admissions process. But what people forget is an A is an A. It doesn't matter if that's a life skills class, you know, or an honors class or this. So even before the lottery, we've mirrored the demographics of our 10-town communities. You know, it was used for the argument to get into the lottery. You know, one town has a higher demographic, then, you know, you can't single that out because we draw from all 10 towns, so you gotta look at the entire pool. You know, so, and the admissions argument has gone on for 10 years, and they've pushed it through this year, and,
We'll see.
yeah. Yeah, any kid that walks through the doors, we hold them to high standards. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Does anyone on the finance committee, this is gonna be a record-setting night, unless we got any questions. Does anyone have any other budget-related items that they'd like to talk about or put on the next agenda, which will be
No.
next Thursday? And that's Wachusett.
No, not, is it next Thursday?
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday, 7 days. No, it's the 19th.
I thought it was the,
Yep, no,
2
you
weeks.
definitely.
I thought it was two, no, okay, all right.
No, sir. You're listening, I make a motion, we adjourn.
I wanted to bring up. But I gotta find it.
Do I have a second?
Had it, yep.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote aye.
You got a roll call because it's remote.
Just go, give,
Second, aye.
Yeah, you screwed
That's
us
an
up.
aye.
We only really need 3, so.
All right.
Forget.
Yep.
yeah, cause she's somehow,
Moet, aye, okay.
perfect,
He came, he said it, so.
Yeah.
all right.
All right. That's great.
Just so Tamika has her.
Tamika, did you note that Ludwig came into the room at about 15 minutes after, just so he's on the record?
Technically speaking, it was 6:16.
Well, we started 2 minutes late, so it was 15 minutes, so we're good. All right,
The minutes always have the exact time.
perfect, thank you.
I get a special one every single meeting.
No,
You're
cause someone will,
special.
cause someone will question whether you can vote on it, so I'm not gonna, with that stupid minute. Tommy, how can we help you out? What,
Well, no, I just, wait, I gotta find the thing that I had.
Minutes.
Last night, we had asked for the,
no,
so I can't tell you anything. Never mind, have to be the next meeting.
oh, we can get it next
Oh, what
time.
was it about?
It was about the memo we got from PEG Access Funds.
Oh, they've not answered our questions at all.
They haven't answered it, but the
Good night,
total,
everyone.
Yeah,
Good night.
but what I saw, I put it back in this bag last night. They got like a balance of $300 and something thousand in there. The way I read that sheet. So I guess my only point is,
What's that?
here it
Hearing
is,
come
here it is. My only point is, why do we keep,
Peg access hearing.
Yeah, I thought that already happened.
Did you
Cause that
get-
was supposed to happen like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
if the way I read this, these three sheets, this is, remember I asked the question, then Tamika did go back and look and sent these back out. If I read this correctly, it says, no, that's 6/30 of 24, 6/30 of 2025, which would have been the beginning of this fiscal year, right?
Yep.
It says here they got a balance and a positive balance of $309,384. Is that what that's the way you read that?
It's the bottom number.
I hope I'm reading it right.
That's what it looks like.
So you're saying why they haven't come to us for money yet,
No, I understand.
but why would they if they have that?
Well, on our sheets here, for cable, we show money that is sometimes asked for. I can't, I'd have to go back and look at the sheet for, this is what the current ones that we have, but we were talking about it, and like last year, we said they wanted 3,000 or something from the tax levy, and we said no. Well, we recommended no, and it did come off of there, but I believe there was something discussed this year briefly when we went by that about having more money there to do certain things. And my point is, I think there's enough money there.
Well, and the whole point was to not use any operating budget money. Correct. Right? That's it.
Okay.
Correct.
Period.
And we did
Period.
ask, and we haven't been told yet about what the minimum requirements are for the
And the yellow
cable
ones.
operations.
What are
We haven't gotten that.
legal
That's the
obligations?
education one.
Those were your
That's
words,
education.
because that's what
Yeah.
we need to know.
Right.
And,
And
you
we
know,
did ask for that, and we haven't been told.
Have we gotten a final budget from her yet?
Nope.
That's coming though, right?
Well, so we also asked for a budget for that, a line item budget for that, and I know when what I had said was for they said something, they couldn't go back for more than a year, 1 or 2, whatever it was, if they can go back 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, what are the numbers and what did they spend the money on?
We asked for it.
We asked for that, and not just, as you see, sometimes your report come out, it says expenditure, blah, 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 X
just
amount of
had-
dollars. You gotta know what is it? It doesn't,
Or is it wages? Is it new equipment? Is it, yeah.
It's
all
just,
those.
it's just a lump sum,
Mm-hmm.
expenditures.
right.
So everything is, it's been treated sort of like a black box because we don't have to worry about it because it's never gonna hit our budget, but I think there,
It's not, and this is the,
and now that's potentially changing, or even if it's changing at a rate that's faster than it needs to be, I think that there's a right to know
correct.
on the entire town administration side.
I agree with 100%. And what I've said, and I've said this for 2 or 3 years now at these meetings, they say, well, that's a different fund that you guys don't need to look at. It isn't. That money comes part of the contract with the town of Rutland. When we get that money from this contract, it's our money. It's the taxpayers' money.
Exactly, it's just a different tax.
Correct. It's our money to know what's going on with it.
Exactly, because when you're out of it, you're also gonna ask us. So if we can make it a little bit later, before you run out, we're gonna
But
try
I
and do
don't
that.
see how they're gonna run out, because from what I know that I've heard over the last number of years, is they're running in the $85,000-$95,000 category for a budget, budget use, their budget, right? Which comes out of that fund. And I think there was 1 year that was up to 100 and something
It
because
was
they
more than that, because they bought a lot of
they
servers.
bought
and
a
stuff.
lot of stuff.
But now
so-
they're saying they need to upgrade those servers, and they need to do all that kind of stuff that was all mentioned.
Yeah, that has to withstand the same scrutiny of the fire department. They're bringing in revenue also, right?
See why
It's
not?
also coming from the taxpayers to some extent. We're making them be accountable to it. Why wouldn't the TV be?
Absolutely.
So Tamika, could you ask Heather to, on the February 26 minutes, there is a second paragraph under fiscal year 27 budget cuts. That second paragraph, we haven't received those answers yet. Could we get those?
Yes, and I don't want to speak for Heather, but I'm 99% sure she has that information. I think she anticipated it was going to come up last night, and then we ended up going so late. I don't think you guys got into it. So I will remind her, but I'm pretty sure she has what you're looking for.
If we could do it after Wachusett next week, we
Yeah,
can get it.
it's not just PEG access, it's also the operational plan for the town hall, if they're only open 16 hours a week.
Yes, I know she has that, and then she also had information you guys had asked about. I think it was the municipal growth factor the last time. I know she had typed up something on that too. So you would like me to add that stuff to March 19th?
Please.
Yes,
Yes,
please.
please.
Okay.
And what,
If we could get it ahead of time, that'd be great, so we can kind of look at it.
Sure, I'll ask her to send it out.
Thanks.
And when did she expect now that she has the numbers other than,
Is that the sheet you got right there?
Yes.
Yes.
She didn't know.
because there was two different things that were screwing her up, the.
Property and
commute-
casualty and health insurance, and, property and casualty, yeah, was the big one. We knew what the health insurance was.
And dispatcher.
Yeah,
whatever it
dispatch.
Yeah,
was called.
dispatch,
Yeah.
but she's got a meeting next week on
Yeah.
dispatch.
All right. Cause we're gonna need to know pretty soon.
Count the number of weeks, it's going fast.
It's zipping by. No doubt about it.
All
Let's
right,
vote in the minutes.
No, not
No,
yet.
not yet.
no, not yet, we're gonna do that, right? If everybody's, I was gonna ask if anybody had any other, and does anybody want me to talk anything more about budget-related items right now? And that Tommy made a great point, cause we haven't gotten that stuff. Like to make a motion or get a motion to accept the February 25th meeting minutes.
Must be you guys, we weren't there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to do two things at once.
I make a motion to
I didn't
accept
think
the
of
February 26th meeting minutes.
Second.
25th.
25th first.
Oh, the 25th.
Those are the ones that you did, cause that's the charter committee meeting.
Oh, 25th. I make a motion to accept the 25th, February 25th meeting
You know
minutes.
the person that did it,
Second.
so they gotta be right, right? Does anyone have any discussion? All those in favor?
Who seconded? Who's the second?
Yes,
Yes.
Tommy seconded.
Okay.
So you got that one,
And
right?
Tamika, Ludwig, and I
Abstain.
abstained because we weren't there.
Got it.
Okay. Does anyone have any? Would anybody like to make a motion on the 26th?
I make the motion that we accept the minutes of the meeting from February 26th.
Second.
Any discussion on that meeting? All those in favor?
Alright,
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
See, you always get a special line.
That was the one I was on time for. I still get a special.
That motion carried unanimous, Tamika.
I didn't notice that until just now.
And just for, we'll try to get that information for the next week. Next Thursday is our next meeting, and that's with Wachusett.
And you've done the 19th minutes? That was the other attachment Tamika had.
That was last night, wasn't it?
We did it last
Yeah,
night,
that's right.
Before 6:15
before,
or whatever. it
whatever,
was.
it was 6:17, whatever that number was. Sorry, buddy. All right,
Do we need to get you a new watch battery?
No,
no, just less
just
work.
back to back to back to back.
I understand, don't worry.
Stacked.
What's your, what, engineer are you? What,
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I'd like to have the discussion, no. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Perfect.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you, bye-bye.
I'm a mechanical engineer,
That's all.
and I am in